Good morning. It's Wednesday, May 22nd, and I'm in the kitchen. My name's Marie. I'm your holistic health counselor. And today in our video and our blog, we'll be talking about fermented foods and why they're so good for us. So fermented foods are foods that have been cultured by using certain healthy bacteria and fungi. And the reason that we want to have those in our diet is first of all, it's a natural way to preserve our food. It extends the life of our food. This is how generations and generations ago food was preserved before there were refrigerators. Little did they know the health benefits that were involved in these foods. When we ferment our foods with healthy bacteria, we allow there to be an abundance of good bacteria, which we know the buzzword today, probiotics. So there's lots of healthy probiotics in fermented and cultured foods, which is good for the digestion, good for our gut, which boosts immunity. Fermented foods are rich in B vitamins and amino acids. And amino acids, they're the building blocks to protein, but they also provide energy and they help our neurotransmitters in our brains work properly. So we're going to talk about today, I'm going to show you how to make a really easy and really inexpensive beverage. My son is making faces at me right now. Sorry. Anyway, a really easy and inexpensive beverage that is fermented, and it's called kombucha. So kombucha is a fermented tea, and you just need a couple of things. It's great for the standard American busy family that's on the go because it really doesn't take much. If you can brew some tea, you can make kombucha. What you need is you need some clean hands. You need some organic cane sugar. You can use other sweeteners for the kombucha tea, but this is typically what is used is just cane sugar. You want to use organic so you're not getting any toxins or any genetically modified sugar cane into your kombucha. A bamboo spoon or spatula, some organic black tea, and the most important part, you need your bacteria to ferment the tea, and that is called a SCOBY, and I'm going to show that to you in just a minute. So you might say, well, Marie, I don't drink caffeine and I don't eat sugar, so I can't have this. Well, guess what? I don't drink caffeine and I don't eat sugar either. The caffeine or the sugar is for you. The bacteria, the SCOBY that I'm going to show you, actually eats the caffeine and it eats the sugar. So what you're left with is this really delicious, healthy and vitamin-rich, beneficial beverage for you and your family. So let's get started. I actually have some tea that's already prepared, so I'm going to show you how I pour that in to my jars with the SCOBYs, and I'm also going to prepare some more tea for you to see that and just see how simple it is. Okay? Let's start. So you need a clean pot. And I'm just taking the lid off of my pot. And I'm going to bring the pot in front of me so you can see what I'm doing. And I am going to pour 3 quarts of water into my stainless steel pot. That's 2 quarts. I don't have a container large enough to hold 3 quarts of water at once. That's in measurement. So then I'm going to pour that in there. And really all you're doing is making tea. Then I just use organic tea bags. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, taught me how to do this not too long ago. So I thought I would share it with you because of the benefits of kombucha. I've been drinking kombucha for quite a while, but not making it. So here you go. You need 4 tea bags. And I put them right in there. I'm going to put the lid back on. And I'm going to turn around, I'm going to put it on the stove, and I'm going to let it boil. After that, when it comes to a boil, then you're going to pour your sugar in. And you take your bamboo spoon or spatula and stir it around and let it melt. And then what you want to do is you want to let the tea cool with the sugar in the pot, because you don't want to pour the hot tea on top of the kombucha because it can kill the bacteria, the SCOBY. A SCOBY is basically just a fungus. It's a symbiotic, that's a big word for you. It's a symbiotic combination of bacteria, or some people call it a mushroom. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on my stove behind me. And I'm going to bring the tea that I already made and let cool. So I'm going to put the sugar to the side, and this is tea that I've already prepared and let cool. And I'm going to remove the tea bags. I just let them sit in there as it cools. And I already put the sugar in while it was hot so it would melt. And so there's my tea. It's just regular black sweet tea at this point. And then what I need is I have a clean jar. And now you get to see the kombucha SCOBY. So I have it sitting down there at the bottom. I actually have two in my jar. And this is a 1 gallon jar, and you can fit about 3 to 4 SCOBYs in here, is what I'm told. And I'm going to, let's see, make it easy for you to see. Put that over there for just a minute because I want you to see what I'm doing. So you need a piece of fabric, just like this, not very large, to cover your jar. The reason for that is you don't want to put a lid on top and keep the air out. You want air to be able to flow in, but you want to keep it protected and nothing to go in from the SCOBY. And actually, the warmer your kitchen is, the better the production of the kombucha will be. So I'm just going to put this right here. And here is my empty clean jar. And with clean hands, you want to reach in. And I already have 1 SCOBY at the bottom of this jar, so I'm going to leave that in there, since I'm going to make an additional batch of kombucha tea, and I'm going to pour it in this one. So now I will have 2 batches of kombucha going on my counter. It'll take about a week for the fermentation process to go. It might take a little bit less with the warmer weather coming up, so you just kind of have to monitor and see. Your kombucha SCOBY, when it's grown, it's going to be about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick, just depending on how fast it grows for you. And the longer you let it sit, the less sweet it's going to be, because that SCOBY needs a lot of sugar to eat. So even though a cup of sugar seems like a lot, it's really not. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my tea into my jar. And I'm going to pour a little bit over this other one, because you really don't want to let it be without any liquid. And it's going to be a little bit while I'm making the other batch of tea. So then I'm going to put my fabric right on top of the jar. And I'm going to just use a rubber band. And that's basically it. Then you let it sit. I have a dehydrator that I run frequently throughout the week, and with a little bit of heat that comes from the dehydrator, I let that sit next to it. So that'll stop that. They're making faces at me again. Sorry. So, the trials of being a homeschool mom. I'm going to take my other piece of fabric from my other jar, clean piece of fabric, and just put it on top. another rubber band. I'm going to put it around there. And then when my tea brews, I'm going to pour the sugar in. Again, I'm going to let it cool. I'm going to stir it with my bamboo spatula. And then after it cools, I'm going to pour it in this jar. And I'll be good to go with another batch of kombucha. If you didn't understand anything, if you have more questions about where you can get a SCOBY, a lot of times if you ask around, your friends may be doing this and you can get them from a friend because once you start growing, they just continuously grow a new one, which is kind of neat. You get to the point where you have to give them away. You can also order them online from different websites. Let me know if you try this and tell me how it goes. Thank you so much, and you have a blessed week. Be healthy. Bye-bye.